Okay, we're back. And we're going to go into the lair with our Centaur Ice Elementalist, who is not really much of an Ice Elementalist at this point. We've got a little bit of water around this entrance, which is not so great. Let's memorize Swiftness. That could be useful. Use some of this Identify. Let's see, what can we drop? I want to drop my food, but I'm not going to because this is a Gozag character. Alright, Amulet of Rage is a decent find. I think that we will carry that around because we may swap it and use it. Possibly. We'll drop the potions of Berserk Rage. Why don't we use all these enchant weapons on this greatsword, which we will eventually make our main weapon. And you know what? I will carry around potions of Berserk Rage. They could be useful on this character, even though we have the amulet as well. Guaranteed, you know. Oddly enough, this hat has more AC than a +0 helmet, so... Let's see if we can kill this with arrows. The answer is no, not really. Maybe if I confuse it? Well, that's the end of that wand. Oh wait, I was disintegrating. Whoops, used the wrong wand. Ah, there we go. We have our poise, but it's not really helping us. I'm really going to need to get some more AC soon. Hexing's working out quite well against these Oclobs. Wow. There is a lot of this stuff. Oddly enough, my Confusion Wand is, you know, retained its charges, even though it was unidentified this whole time. 29 charges used, wow. But yeah, if you can't... If you get a vault like this where you need to kill a bunch of Oclobs in a row, hexes are definitely a good move. Okay, we've got enchant armor now. I suppose I'll just enchant my cloak up. I've also got 1,600 gold pieces, so once I finish Lair, I may actually buy a shop, even though I usually don't like to do that. We'll just see what we get in the way of loot. If we're still wearing mediocre armors, then maybe. This actually isn't going too badly, despite the sort of awkward start due to being an ice elementalist. Honestly, I probably should have just trained bows. I mean, clearly not having an arrow problem. Even though we're using it rather heavily. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab some stones. And the reason for that is just so I can tab without it trying to throw my throwing nets based on the way I have this set up. Like, I have it set up to throw things with tab, which is the proper way to have things set up in my opinion. Seven heads. We still are kind of lacking in defense, so let's not be next to that Hydra. Even if we do have a flaming sword. Man, what can I do about inventory management? Guess I just gotta get some of this stuff identified. But hey, we get some use out of our hooves this game. Usually we don't. That's kind of cool. Book of Ice. Wouldn't that have been nice to find super early? Too late now. I mean, I suppose I could go in this direction, but seems pointless at this point. Hey, there's a labyrinth. Do we have magic mapping? Is magic mapping identified? It is not. Gonna read ID some of this stuff. Recharging, okay. Amnesia. I can drop scrolls of amnesia. Grand weapon. I want to rebrand the Great Sword of Electrocution and hope for freezing, but that's probably stupid because it could become venom, and electrocution is really good. So I think instead I'm just gonna like not. Yeah, I'll just abort. Hey, there's magic mapping, the very last one. So of course we'll just look for the Minotaur here. Looks like we might be getting lucky with an easy layout. Then again, this might be tricking me. Like I see the metal walls, but it's not really taking me to the Minotaur, is it? Yeah, I think I've been bamboozled here. Have to come at it from the north, I imagine. Let's teleport. With digging, this is usually not that hard, since we can roughly go in whatever direction we want, at least at the outer layer. We know it's on the bottom right. It's just that we couldn't quite find the entrance. Oh, there's more metal here. There he is. Ah, dead end. Let's just fight him. He wasn't equipped with anything, so I knew that I'd be able to melee him without too much trouble. Wow. Unbelievable. What a great ring. That's an end game ring right there. 4 resistances, and we get stealth and a little bit of strength on top of it. Wow. Well, I know what I'm wearing. Cool stuff. And a bunch of wands, too. Awesome. Really great labyrinth. That'll even be helpful here, come to think of it. You know, against rhyme breaks and the like. Wow, this isn't quite right. There we go. Should have been a little more careful there. Anacondas are no joke. Could have gotten constricted and then I would have been in some real trouble. Especially fighting both of those at the same time. Now we have immolation to kill this stuff. There's no need to use it. It would just be showboating, really. We can kill this stuff without immolation, and we can do it pretty easily. We just have to lure it out one at a time. Doing a little swapping here, which is not ideal, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Let's end our corrosion. Get this guy with the sword. Maybe. Well, maybe not. Got him. That's one way to deal with big problems, just paralyze them. It was only a 30% chance, but we've got so many charges. We can last around with this guy. Alright, let's try to paralyze this thing again. Ah, got him immediately. Wow. He's so hardy, even while paralyzed. I'll just do this. Finish him off. I'm gonna go ahead and train up some armor and dodging, since we're approaching Mendeley on the falchion. Surprised that the queen took so long to come out. gonna go ahead and pick up Animate Skeleton for now. Wait, what am I doing? Why would I do that? I'm worshipping Gozag, and then after that I'm gonna be worshipping Zen, who will disallow it, so that was a misplay. Doesn't really matter, but wow, what was I thinking? Kind of silly. We're not really using magic anyway, so whatever. Wow, eating a surprising amount of damage from the ice blasts, considering my 2 pips of our cold. Maybe some component of that is physical. Of course, part of it is that our defenses just aren't very good right now. It's Kirky. She can porculate me. We cannot really paralyze her. Okay, I'll put on See Invisible. We're going to lamp of fire her. There we go. I see that I found an artifact ring at some point. Okay, basically just RF plus. I'm going to keep it as a swap, but we already have our poise, so yeah, this is just an RF ring. And we already have a pip of RF from our body armor, which we may be removing soon, so just kind of keep it in reserve. Eight-headed, so roughly 160 damage. Best to just kill it with ranged. Almost everything I do in this game revolves around avoiding the chance of doing something that could result in death. That means doing a good amount of math. Nothing too complicated, just checking out how much damage, for example, a Hydra head does. Oh, well, you know, I'm giving this nice speech and then I end up in melee with this thing. Shouldn't have let that happen. But like, for example, 18 hits, 18 damage per Hydra head. If there's 8 heads, which there was on this one, that's, if you round to 20, that's 160 damage. That's more than my hit points. Now, of course, it's going to be reduced by things like AC. Certain amount of that will be guaranteed if you have something other than like a Robon, because GDR. But I like to round up rather than round down. That's why I don't bother to think about like what's 18 times 8. I'd rather think what's 20 times 8, because then I have wiggle room for if I make any kind of mistake, I'm assuming I'm going to take more damage than I'm actually going to take. This encourages me to play less close, you know, less to the wire. Although in reality it's more like 140 damage for an 8-headed Hydra. I mean, I don't think that could one-shot me with 8 heads at this point, based on my AC, my GDR, and my hit points. It could certainly come very close. What I don't feel like doing is all the math on, like, what's my guaranteed damage reduction, what's my current AC, what's that gonna reduce each Hydra hit by. That I don't want to fool with. I don't think that's very fun to have to do that kind of math. But if you're, you know, if you can ballpark it, and you ballpark it in such a way... If you ballpark it in such a way that you're assuming it's always going to be worse than it actually is, then you're not going to die. Because you're being even more cautious than necessary. That's my philosophy anyway. I think we may have a Guardian Serpent coming up. That's okay, we have plenty of tools in the toolbox to deal with that. Okay, this Hydra we can just fight, it's only 4 heads. Just cut its heads off very easily with this flaming falchion. Seven-headed Hydra. Take him out with the bow. I'm pretty happy as long as I don't see that Guardian Serpent anywhere. Okay, that's Josephine. Let's hit her with the bow as she approaches, and then kill her with the sword. We'll use this kill hole here. We're gonna get slowed, but it's okay. Just fighting wraiths. Not a huge deal at this point in the game. Not with a weapon that's this good anyway. I hexed that Hornet because I don't want to be paralyzed. Top tier threat, you know. You do want to probably treat Lair 6 with caution. I mean, it is a branch ending. I'm gonna acid this dude. You know what? We're gonna drop this used up paralysis and grab one of the other ones from that labyrinth. Scrolls of Vulnerability, an excellent find. Now we can deal with just about anything by virtue of using Paralysis and Vulnerability. There's almost no threat this character can't handle, for 3 times anyway. Oh, there's that serpent. Now there's just way too much stuff here, so we're gonna teleport. He's back. We could try to paralyze, and we succeed. Down he goes. Wow, we may need to buy a food shop soon. Okay, that's Lair. We're only half an hour in, so we will continue down the dungeon. Let's do a little bit of, put a little bit of thought into this, though. Do I want to go ahead and buy a shop? The answer is probably not, because I want to see what's in Orc. I would like to have a little more MR. We're pretty well prepared for Orc. Other than the lack of MR, they can still paralyze me, which is no good. Let's just take a look at how D12 looks. Oh no, oh no. Don't want to be next to this hungry ghost. It's no good at all. Very bad for this character. I mean, I could definitely see myself buying a food shop soon. Thankfully, we have more than enough gold to do it. We're gonna kill this guy at range because he has electrocution. Probably wasn't strictly necessary. I mean, we have quite a lot of wiggle room on hit points right now, but I mean, whatever. It's optimal. Wow. Okay, alright. Just use some charges, I guess. That The skeletal warrior did not want to die. I guess we'll just keep resetting these fights until they do, though. I could try to kill it at ranged, but... let's try the great sword, I suppose. There we go. Now, I don't really want to do that, since it takes up more time to attack, but if it needs that extra oomph of damage, then, well, it is what it is. I mean, it is quite a big damage boost, like 7 base damage on the falchion, 15 on the greatsword. Okay, we'll go into orc. I would rather not stair dance this because of the likelihood of an orc sorcerer being down here when I come back. So that was a bit of a misplay, but on the other hand, I mean, what can you do? If the main staircase in is contested, you may have to take the risk or come back later. You know, we are resistant to everything that an orc sorcerer can do other than summoning a 6 Furhy. So that's one thing that makes me more likely to take a few risks in here. Not too many. Whoa, there's one right there. Let's stay on the edge of vision. If we get paralyzed here, it's not the end of the world. We're going to paralyze him. Wow, he is just not... Forget this. I'm resetting this fight. It's not good. See, I don't want to come back down the staircase. That gives him a chance to do all kinds of really, really, really nasty things to me when I come back. He can't paralyze me in this position, though. Oh, this is good. Check it out. An Ice Blast here, get some damage on him. Did that kill him? No, it didn't. Alright, this is good. We can Acid here, go through. Alright, now we're just going to finish him with Ice Blast. That probably could have been handled a little bit more carefully. Also, I should have been holding this falchion the whole time for the MR boost, so... my mistake. Although I don't think... if we had gotten paralyzed at any point there, I don't think I would have died. I don't think there was any chance of me dying, but... without doing some math, it's kind of hard to say that for sure, I guess. Cool thing about Worshipping Gozag is I know exactly where the other floors here are, or the other disconnected sections are, I should say. A transporter with orcs in it. I'm going to say come back with MR. I'm not going to go in there with an Orc Warlord in close quarters like a crazy person. Hey! Hey, hey, hey. Perfect. I would like to have more EV than this, but... 2% paralyzed. So if we level up a little bit, that'll become 0. So we can go back into that. We can go into that teleporter vault before too long. But yeah, we would certainly like to have more EV on this character, due to the fact that, well, due to the riposte mechanic. Sucks. Alright, why don't we just... We'll just dig. We'll catch the sorcerer from behind. Get the paralysis on him this way. There we go. Wow, I shouldn't have taken that hatch up. That was crazy. I had forgotten that there was a teleporter vault, or at least I wasn't thinking about it. That could have been quite nasty. Well, this kind of sucks. We don't want to be paralyzed. Why don't we go invisible for a little extra protection when we come down? Thankfully the sorcerer wasn't there, but he could have been. Okay, I want to use acid. I want to use Ice Blast to finish him off. It doesn't work. We could get paralyzed here, very bad. Let's get the paralysis on him. He's paralyzed, but now we're next to this thing, so what we're going to do is we're going to dig, we're going to kill the boss, and then the minion goes away. Now, we've used up quite a few of our wands, so let's grab this one, which will be almost as useful. I mean, the bottom line is we need something that blasts through enemies. And then we want that third paralysis wand as well. Just kind of replacing these as we use them up. We'll go back down to Orc 2. Wow, let's go up and not get paralyzed by that thing. We're below speed 1 on this greatsword now. So technically it's superior to the falchion. With that said, oh my god. Oh, he has... That's not good at all. Had to use blink. I guess I'll use some curing. Like a giant pile of curing. Alright, let's go up. Okay, what was I saying? I was saying that the greatsword is better for damage, but the falchion is going to have more MR, which we kind of need in here. So we'll probably primarily use it, or at least swap to it, when we see sorcerers. There's a sorcerer. We'll swap here in a second. But I think I'm going to focus on trying to kill it first. And it looks like we can succeed. This is why wands are so important. I mean, because I used positioning against him, he did not really have a chance at all to paralyze me. And I was able to fight him even though he couldn't fight me, if that makes sense. Oh boy. Let's wait until that mic goes away. Okay, Falchion goes on. We will use lightning. He gets a chance to try to paralyze me, which sucks. Why don't we pull this dude up? And we'll go here. Right. And then we'll paralyze him. You know, actually, as I go up and down these staircases, I should be wearing as much MR as possible, rather than swapping to the Great Blade. Great Sword. Because you never know. You never know when a sorcerer could show up. I'm gonna try to be careful around this warlord. Can I just paralyze him? I totally can. We must have pulled like half the level. I mean, we have quite a lot of stuff just pouring out from the east. I can only imagine that the main vaults with the shops are off in that direction. And that's cool. I mean, I'm happy with that. As long as I don't get paralyzed, this is totally fine by me. Man, what am I doing? I don't need to be using resources against this stuff. It's the lightning bolts that made the noise, by the way. I mean, of course stuff is coming. We made a big racket. Okay, we're about to be starving. I don't know if I can use my god abilities while I'm starving, so let's go ahead and make the shop now. Food Emporium. Okay. So we had about 5,000 something gold, maybe 5,700. Basically, we spent 1,000 gold on food. money well spent, in my opinion. Okay, we got a really crappy cloak. Not gonna wear that. Potion of Curing, I'll buy that. Some books. Passage of Galubria, I suppose. Armors that we don't need. And other stuff we don't need. So this was a bit of a bust. I guess we got an extra shop here with some useful scrolls. That's cool. Okay. Now we're 51 minutes in. I'll go ahead and finish out Dungeon. We've got 4,300 gold. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna buy another shop. We want either the distillery or the armor. Distillery might be cool because it could have Potion of Experience, but unlikely. Why don't we get armor? I kind of like that Fire Dragon scale, considering the other ring I found. Well, this is a strict upgrade, so there's no question that I'm going to wear those. The gloves. Magic resistance is something we rather need right now. So I don't think we're going to buy this. I'll put it on the list. I'll put Storm Dragon Scales on the list too. That doesn't mean we're going to buy both of them. It's just so I'm aware every time I press the $ button of what I have available to me. I could probably see this character going into Storm Dragon Scales sooner than anything else. But then again, I mean, those Fire Dragon Scales, no, we're not going to wear that because that's basically just a regular Fire Dragon Scale. We could enchant another one up higher. I mean, I'll put it on the list in case we don't find very many enchant armor scrolls, but Alright, I'm going to make one more shop. Antique armor, sure. Really? Well, that sucks. Alright, let's just clear out the rest of the dungeon with this great sword. Swapping to the falchion if we need MR for some reason. Say we run into a vampire knight, something like that. Yeah, but we've overextended a bit when it comes to the gold. I like to have 3,000 available at all times. Wow. That's a lot of guys. I was rather hoping that Lamp of Fire would do a little bit more. This is okay, though. We use the fire for the Hydra. Naturally. Or naturally, I should say. I do think we'll probably end up using Bribe at some point. Probably in vaults. Just trying to think of how I'm going to use the rest of this gold. Yeah, I'll probably bribe vaults 5. Have a really easy time of it. We'll see. I mean, we're going to have tons of gold to work with. Also, I'm going to have to look up Gozag Wrath and see exactly what I'm dealing with. I think that it can berserk random enemies, which frankly really sucks, but what are you going to do? I gotta get that Zen swap. But that's not something we need to worry about for a while. I mean, we don't even have a rune yet, so... Yeah, Potions of Haste. I'd like to see those. Now, we found Shoals and Spider this game, which, I think this is my first time doing Shoals without a ranged weapon in quite a while. That'll be interesting. Okay, Banishment. Swap to this MR. We can still be banished, but it's only a 3% chance. Let's see. She's got Lightning Bolt, that sucks. Let me think about this. I may need to use some abilities here. Yeah, she started the Lightning Bolt. I used a Brilliance, but it didn't quite work out. Tell you what, I'm just going to Lamp of Fire her. Oh. It's a Distortion Trident. Probably should have paid attention to that. That makes meleeing her rather obnoxious. Okay, it's fine. We got the Paralyze. Had to spam it a bit, but... That's fine, we'll recharge our paralysis. It only gives me 3 charges, which feels like quite a rip-off. Is this a Trove? I see a Trove. Abyssal Rune. Well, I haven't been picking up the Abyssal Rune that much, but... I guess I'm going to today. Well, not in this video, but certainly in this run. Let's drop Scrolls of Enchant Armor, and we'll pick them up again once we're ready to use them. I don't want to enchant up this plate armor because I probably won't be wearing it forever. And our defense is actually doing okay. Mediocre, but okay. Oh, man. Okay, let's try this recharge again. Whoa, I didn't mean to do that. I gotta stop doing things so quickly. Although recharging the digging is not the end of the world. I mean, can't have too many digging charges, I suppose. It just may have been a little bit wasteful, you know. Like, we could have gotten more charges out of that recharge. Well, it's not good that I'm slow right now. Let's reset. Boggarts are proving to be a huge pain, as usual. I'm gonna adjust the greatsword to be my main weapon now. And I would like some more enchant weapon. Maybe we'll buy a scroll shop. We'll see. I do already have 3,500, so would be pretty easy to afford. Yeah, let's go ahead and try that. Call merchant. Oh, no scroll shop. Honestly, come to think of it, you should probably always take a scroll shop since you can acquire gold. Maybe it pays for itself if an acquirement shows up. Anyway, we'll keep getting armor boutiques. Well, there's a Gloves of Archery. For once I see it, and I'm not playing a ranged character. That's cute. Man, this all sucks. I was really hoping for a barding. This is the problem with Gozag and relying on the shops, and this is why I usually don't go down the shop route. Because it's not guaranteed. Bribe is guaranteed. Potion Petition is relatively guaranteed to help you. These shops, you might just be wasting your money. Which, in fact, I have on pretty much every single one. Oh well, not the end of the world. Anyway, we will cut the video here. Shoals and Spider Nest next time. Not sure exactly which I'll do first. Probably Spider Nest, since Shoals is going to be rather irritating with the water, since I'm not doing ranged. Yeah, I'm not going to buy any more shops, by the way, the rest of the game. Maybe at the very, very end, what if I have a ton of gold. But if I do buy a shop, it'll be a food shop, most likely. Anyway, yeah, we'll cut the video here. Spider Nest and Shoals next. Maybe even Slime in the same video. We'll see how it goes. By then I'll have enough money to bribe again, so vaults will be pretty easy. I think that we'll bribe vaults 5 and have a really simple time in there. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, I'm signing out.